Hello everyone. Today our group will help you understand what Buddhism is and talk about its principles. And during my talk, I will provide you with some background on Buddhism. Initially, let's talk about the history of it. Buddhism began 2,500 years ago in India, and it's based on the teaching of an Indian prince named Siddhartha Gautama. And according to Buddhist tradition, the prince was shocked by the suffering that he saw outside of his palace walls. So he led his luxury life to find answers. He spent the remaining part of his life teaching the path to liberation from suffering. And over its long history, Buddhism has taken a wide variety of forms, but all forms of Buddhism share a respect for the goal ending suffering and the cycle of the rebirth. Coming to the Buddhism beliefs, the religious beliefs are also important in Buddhism, but its central doctrines are not necessarily the same as other world religions. Depending on the sect, Buddhist beliefs may include God, gods, ancestors, afterlife, but most important Buddhism beliefs is about suffering and how to escape it. And the Buddha himself was called the Enlightened One. And after Gautama became enlightened, he taught that the way to eliminate the suffering begins with the understanding the true nature of the world. Furthermore, Buddhism is not about God or God. It does not simply tell about what may happen in afterlife. It's based on the world of daily living. Most religions have deep theoretical foundation, and people within such religion have faced that the theory is true. But Buddhism does not address theories, does not agree or disagree with any religion. In Buddhism, Buddhism is about living life in peaceful serenity. To sum up my talk, the Buddha taught that the human suffer because we continuously strive after things that don't give permanent happiness. And in Buddhism, the purpose of life is just to end suffering. So now I want to give floor to my friends to explore what's the reason that Buddhism is like science and the faith.
Thank you, Yusuf, and for your general information about Buddhism. And now, as you said, I'm going to talk about the reasons why the Buddhism as a science. And first of all, I would like to talk about the first point, which is that it isn't Buddhism is not a religion at all, but rather a way of looking at the world. And more than other religions, more than any other religion, Buddhism lends itself to a dialogue with science. Why? Because among the key aspects of Buddhism, we find insistence that knowledge must be gained through teachings of evolved masters, because its orientation is empirical rather than theoretical, and because it rejects any conception of absolutes. And secondly, the second reason is that because its orientation is empirical and rather than theoretical, and because it rejects any conception of absolutes. And according to Tenzin Gyatso, better known as the 14th Dalai Lama, supposes that something is definitely proven through scientific investigation, that a certain hypothesis is verified or a certain fact emerges as a result of scientific investigation. And suppose, furthermore, that fact is incompatible with Buddhist theory. There is no doubt that we must accept the result of the scientific research. The comfortable fit between Buddhism and empirical science has been facilitated by several canonical teachings, of which one of the most important is the Kalama Sutra. In it, the Buddha advises his audience on how to deal with the bewildering diversity of conflicting claims on the part of various Brahmins and itinerant monks. And thank you for your attention.
And now I'm going to talk about science in Buddhism, and the growing evidence that Buddhism can potentially have an important and productive influence on science, primarily at two levels: the detailed research level evident in the study of mind, and the foundation of modern, especially physics. And scientists are increasingly using Buddhist wisdom for insight into several research topics and to illuminate the human conditions. When psychologists use Buddhist concepts in their work, for example, they find their parents are less inclined to exhibit prejudice against people outside their social and religious group. And numerous studies shows that meditation has a positive effect on health and well-being. EEG tests to measure marks brain waves provide proof. And monks and other expert meditators produce high levels of gamma brain waves, which have a serious benefits of cognitive functioning. And meditation also benefits to immune system, and it has been shown to reduce mind wandering, which increases happiness and reduce depression. And meditation can even slow the rate of brain atrophy. And Western scientists and Buddhist scholars have also collaborated on one of the profound mysteries of the human experience, which is consciousness. And researchers have used neuroscience to support the idea of an ever-changing self. Neuroscientists have modeled the sense of self in terms of shifting networks and circumstances in the brain. They're claiming that your sense of stable and rooted you is an illusion, they concluded. And now I'm giving the floor to Azar, and he will talk about the modern science.
And now I will give you brief information about modern science in Buddhism and how Buddha knew the truth before scientists. Einstein has a quote which says, "If there is a religion which copes with the modern scientific needs, it would be Buddhism." And additionally, there are many scientific discoveries which are same with what Buddha says 2600 years ago, such as existence of multiverse, quantum physics, evolution, and cosmology. Next one. About quantum physics, Buddha said that there is actually no material. The material reality actually is projection of our mind, um, and mind creates the reality. Additionally, Buddha gave an answer to many theories, such as Heisenberg uncertainty principle, which says that if we ask, for example, whether the electron's position changes with the time, we must say no. If we ask whether electrons is rest, we must say no. If we ask whether it's in motion, we must say no. He also gave an answer to Albert Einstein theories, such as mass energy equivalence and theory of relativity. And because of these theories and discoveries, some institutes, such as Mind and Life Institute, has decided to continue to explore Buddhism because it can offer many things to modern science. And the question is, you may ask that how Buddha knew this without any scientific experiment and observation like scientists. So main difference between scientists and Buddha is that Buddha went inside for answers, while scientists look outside. And we observe everything through the mind, which is imperfect, and uh, because because of the mind nature, it's imperfect, and without understanding mind nature, it may take so much time to realize all the phenomena and truths. So Buddha used meditation to go inside and uh, to learn the nature of mind, to see outside with another view. By this way, Buddha could understand everything. And now Sabina will talk about the faith part. Thank you.
I'm going to talk about faith in Buddhism. Let's first consider the idea of faith before we push it towards Buddhism. So, what is faith? Faith is assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. This definition can be interpreted in many different ways, and some of the interpretation can lead to blind faith. Blind faith is a confidence in someone or something without any reason to do so. However, in Buddhism, there is no notion of blind faith. The faith in Buddhism is connected with teachings and practices rather than a focus on a God as a center of the religion. As we know, Buddha, after 49 days of meditation, he reached nirvana, the state of enlightenment. And he discovered that the Four Noble Truths, which became the core belief of Buddhism. So, first noble truth is life is suffering. No matter what we do, we will suffer. Second one is we suffer because of greed. We are attached into impermanent things, and because of this, we suffer. The third one is we can escape from this cycle of suffering. And the last one is the Noble Eightfold or path or the middle path can help us escape suffering and achieve enlightenment. So the Eightfold Path is consists of several steps which help us relieve the pain. So the first one is right view or understanding, which relies on the concept of Four Noble Truths. Second one is right intent. The step 3 is right speech. Step 4 is right action. Step 5 is right livelihood. Step 6 is right effort. And step 7 is right mindfulness. And the last one is right concentration. So by following all these steps, we can achieve nirvana, the state of enlightenment that Buddha achieved. Eventually, a person can achieve nirvana when he or she extinguishes all wants and desires. And now I give the floor to Asif, which will talk about divisions of Buddhism.
Yes, thank you, Sabrina. And Buddhism is split between two major branches, Theravada and Mahayana. Theravada is the older of the two. It's considered to be more orthodox as well. They think of the Buddha as a more human figure, and there is a focus on using meditation as a way to reach enlightenment. Within Theravada Buddhism, there is the belief in three things. First, nothing is permanent. Life is suffering, and there is no self. There is a huge emphasis on monastic life and reverse in Theravada Buddhism. Only monks can reach enlightenment. Mahayana Buddhism, which means greater vehicle, is younger and considered to be more accessible to normal people. It is called greater vehicle because of it is inclusively. Mahayana also contains a lot of different schools such as Zen, Tantra, and Pure Land Buddhism. They believe that enlightenment can be achieved in a single lifetime and that you do not need to be a monk to achieve it. Mahayana is more religious of two and has called bodhisattvas, which are people that achieved enlightenment but delay nirvana to help others to the same. There is also more emphasis on idols and godlike beings. And finally, let's finish up today's discussion with these surprising statistics. Today, Buddhism is a religion of around 488 million people, or about 70% of the world population. It's huge number, huge statistics. Today, we try to explain and provide more information about Buddhism. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Thank you.